You know, where the average motorist could repair his own vehicle, those days have long gone, unless they run an old vehicle. And as much as people say, well, they're so polluting, the biggest culprit, I would say, for pollution from the whole automobile world is the manufacture and distribution of new vehicles. So how about we just stop building them? From the golden days of motoring, some familiar names. And my cuppa. Hi there folks, as you can see I've got some new cups thanks to my daughter. Some of the golden names that we associate with the, how shall I say, the golden age of motoring. Many of them being oil companies. Now there's a dirty word. And kind of brings me onto a bit of a subject. I was watching a video this morning on the Geoff Buys Cars channel. I'll put a link in the description if you've not seen his channel. Well recommended. And he was on about how they plan to ban the repair of certain cars when they get to a certain age. There would be different categories, I think, but these are, how should I say, the dregs of the internal combustion era that they are so desperate to get rid of. Now, it got me thinking, there's been many instances of getting the old cars off the road from the scrappage schemes, the bullshit around EVs. Sorry if you're an EV owner, but this is my honest opinion. And also there was talk of making MOTs every 2 years, and I'm sure a lot of people thought that's a good idea. But have you ever thought an MOT might just pick up a repair that costs £25 to repair? Whereas in 2 years' time, that same repair, because it's the problem will have developed, could cost a whole lot more, making the owner more likely to scrap the vehicle. And we are at a point where I would say it's time to start hoarding the old vehicles, start hoarding the spare parts, if you want to keep running the vehicles that, how should we say, are not forced upon us. It's a common thing bandied about these days about recycling, and we have to do our bit. Well, I'm sorry folks, those that came before us knew more about recycling than you ever will, because they had to. And in some ways I'm a bit old school and I still recycle a lot of things. For example, let's just go and have a look in the workshop and see what's about. So, if we weren't allowed to repair the older vehicles, what would I do? That's my Rover Streetwise. It's 21 years old, and that recently went through its MOT test for a cost of no more than £65, and then I put discs and pads on it for a full £36 and 5p. Ah, the joys of the Rover 25 Streetwise diesel. It needs some brakes. Front brake discs and pads, £36 and 5p off eBay. Right, we'll do one side at a time. Let's get the wheel off. So, with a bit of steering lock added so we can get in. This is more about changing the discs than the pads. Well, they are quite thin. So, we need these two bolts out, remove the caliper, and then those bolts out and remove the carrier. Right, let's get the caliper out of place. Slowly push the piston back. One new disc, covered in grease. Make sure you clean it off with some brake cleaner, folks. I had to put a bit of copper grease just round there so the disc doesn't rust to it. And that's good for another 12 months. And let's be honest, if I ran that till the day I died, it's going to produce less emissions than me buying one brand new car to replace it. But if I was to replace that brand new car every 3 years, think of the emissions created. That's why I want these old cars off the road, because they can't control them as easy. Another example, a little Renault there, that's just been MOT'd. It needed a catalytic converter, basically because it was 0.09% over the CO limit. However, to rectify that problem, you've got to get a catalytic converter, which includes rare earth minerals and things, and then the shipping and all that bollocks, to then save that 0.09% CO. Doesn't it half make sense, folks? Anyway, let's go in the workshop. So they want us out of the old cars that they can't control by stopping us repairing them. Well, hang on, what am I going to do? Because I repair things. That's what I've done all my life. Maybe it's carried over from the older generations where you kept things going. And if it stopped going as what it was, you converted it to something else. That's a bloody strong broom. So yeah, folks, I repair things. What looks like scrap and rubbish all has a use, even though sometimes it's not apparent at the time. I'm kind of talking about hoarding things there. I've got things I've kept for 20 years and then suddenly will be the answer to a problem. So yeah, old machinery. That's for grinding tree stumps. Old engines, that's a 1989 Mercedes engine for a Unimog, which needs refitting. An old camper. Old. There's nothing wrong with old, folks. Stop throwing it away. And the older you go back, for example, some of you know I'm involved in basically restoring temporary buildings that were on a wartime airfield, and it has no window frames. Well, because things then were simple, you can replicate them. And as you can see, again, it's that word simplicity. Where's it all gone wrong, folks? Yeah, I can see workshops and places like this and people like me becoming a thing of the past. Nobody wants to learn the old ways of mechanical items. It's all about computers and being electric and smart powered. And with that comes its downside, folks, and a lot of you are not seeing it. So, this little chap here, a skid steer, I'm not sure of its age, it's certainly not new. It's had a few issues, so I need to go underneath and take a look. It's probably a simple repair, but it's not performing as it should. And I'm sure in our, agenda, the best thing would be to scrap it and buy an electric one. Let's take a look, folks. First of all, actually, let's start it up, get it running, and then we'll go have a look and see if there's anything leaking underneath. See if it starts. let's take a look underneath. Watch your head. That might be leaking. Let's just give it a bit of a squirt off with some brake cleaner. Wipe off with a rag. Have a look from above. Can't see anything leaking up the top. Go back down below. Mind your head. Can't see anything leaking, so I must have cured it. Right, let's turn it off. When it comes to motoring and mechanical freedoms, we need to take precautions, folks. Otherwise, it'll all be taken away from us. It's almost like they're trying to ban simplicity, folks. You know, where the average motorist could repair his own vehicle, those days have long gone, unless they run an old vehicle. And as much as people say, well, they're so polluting, The biggest culprit, I would say, for pollution from the whole automobile world is the manufacture and distribution of new vehicles. So how about we just stop building them? If it's all about the planet, let's just stop production of every new vehicle, and the only ones to stay about are the ones we keep going, because that's far cleaner for the planet, folks. Well, it's not about that, it's about profit and control. So there's a few rabbit holes for you maybe to go and investigate. But I do recommend it is now time to start thinking about keeping these older cars alive, because that's our link to not being prisoner to the system. We've got to stand up, folks, somewhere. Maybe time the restoration guys and the old car guys, the scrap guys, got together and, you know, kept the show on the road. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. And on that bombshell, I'll catch you on the next one.